Yes, all right. Welcome back to Kosi's Arsenal podcast. My name is Kosi. Good evening or good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. I might as well say good morning, good afternoon, and good night, wherever you are, depending on where you are in all parts of the world. I'm back again with a couple of stories to discuss, especially news around transfers, around Arsenal. So many things to discuss. Of course, I've spent the day trying to do content around that game we beat Slavia Prague and trying to enjoy the day, trying to enjoy the moments there. But it's back to business, and I'm back to business. I'm going to be discussing much of what actually is happening around Arsenal and the transfer window. So make sure you're smashing the like button. Make sure you're subscribing. Make sure you're telling me what you think about these stories, because they are very, very, very true stories. And what I'm just going to do is tell you what is happening and give you a touch, a reaction, a flair of a fan. There's so many stories. Alexander Lacazette's new contract has been trending all over. When you talk about that, we're going to talk about Matthias Martinelli's 35 million deal. We're going to talk about Jack Grealish's again, as well as other players, Edin Ketia, Kolasinac, and the new striker in the names of Roman. That that name is so hard. But anyway, guys, welcome back to the channel. Let us discuss some of these transfers, especially in terms of Arsenal. Smash the like button and get your subscriptions in. Let's get the party started. I'll start off with Alexander Lacazette. He's been linked with a move away from Arsenal, I think, for the past 2 months, and it has been a little bit clear that his agent wants him to leave. He's not getting the right football at Arsenal. He's not actually getting the privileges he wants to get as a player at Arsenal. So he had opted to leave as a player. He had opted to leave the club, but now he's been absolutely very, very good in the past I think 1 month. He's been that striker that Arsenal have been leaning on for the past 2 months or 3 months, and I think that is where Arsenal are getting excited, and they're thinking twice about selling him. Personally, I would sell him, even if we won the Europa League, and courtesy of him, I would sell him. But what do you think about Alexander Lacazette staying at Arsenal or leaving? There are reports that Arsenal are working hard to give him a new contract to stay at the club. There are also reports that his agent rather says no, my player is going to be moving on. So there's a big fuss. There's a big question around there. Is Alexander Lacazette going to stay? Should he be staying at the club, or is it better we cash in on him and then getting an upgrade, of a striker? Because we've been linked with so many strikers, especially Odsonne Edouard, linked with Arsenal as that, ultimate replacement, should I say, as the perfect replacement. But we have also been linked with Patson and a couple of other, other players. So my question to you guys is: would you let Alexander Lacazette stay at the club, or is it time for Lacazette to leave the club? In the comment box, I would love to know what you think about that. But my opinion there is, you sell Lacazette in the summer and then getting a younger striker with a lot of potential. The only problem with Arsenal is they're going to sell Lacazette and then they're going to sign Patrick Bamford. That's the problem. They're going to sell a quality player and then replace him with low quality. Look, if you bring in a player who has a lot of potential like Lacazette, I have no issues. Because right now, I think this season, his performances, you can harvest some 35 million pounds, or probably some 40 million pounds from his sale. He has he has 1 year left on his contract. You can sell him. I think we should sell him and then get in a young striker with a lot of potential. I would like to know what you think about that story in the comment box. Still moving on. With what is actually happening around Arsenal, Matthias Martinelli, Arsenal have been tipped to finish or complete that signing of Matthias Martinelli. I did talk about that story in detail in the last, I think, in the past week, and I say that 19 years of age, he's a midfielder, young midfielder, 35 million. That is his release clause actually. but a player of 35 million pounds at his age, you've got to believe he must be very, very talented. He must be, he must have the potential, because at times there are not so many players of such young players that you're going to sign at 35 million pounds. But Matheus Martinelli plays with is it Fluminense, and he's been linked closely to Arsenal. I think Fluminense have a player. I think he's called Kayak or something like Kayak. He signed for Manchester City, and now Arsenal looking to sign Matheus Martinelli. I just gone blank. But the beauty there, I think, what's interesting about the story, that this story comes in 24 or 48 hours later, after it was confirmed that Arsenal are going to be looking at the South African market, to get young players, to get young players from there, because it looks like the European market is becoming a little bit so expensive, and it's true. And I'll talk about that when we talk about players like Jack Grealish, players like Jude Bellingham, who was linked with Arsenal before, and he was around 35 million pounds as well. It looks like the European market, especially if you're going to buy players from the big 5 leagues or the big 5 countries in terms of football, you're going to pay a lot of money, as compared if you're going to pay from you're going to buy players from South America. The only issue they have you have with players from South America is the third parties. They always have these third parties: the father, the agent, the club. Then you have these companies that have hands in these transfers. That is the only problem. But apart from that, I think they're brilliant. There's a lot of talent that down there, and it's time for Arsenal and football to go back to the roots. Get those players from get those raw talents and try to transform them. I've seen some people who have been telling me Matheus Martinelli is a bowler. Matheus Martinelli is a good player. I don't know what you think. But I would like to know what you think about Arsenal going for Matheus Martinelli in that regard. Of course, moving on with what is happening around Arsenal still in terms of transfers. Now, after beating Slavia Prague, I've been reading this report, and I was like, what is really happening with football? There's a report that has written and said Grealish is now interested in Arsenal move after seeing the kind of display we had against Slavia Prague. Of course, there are rumors, there are links. I wouldn't give a lot of time, especially at this time. We know Arsenal are not going to go for Grealish. It's an expensive option. We would love to go for Grealish, and Edu and all the other guys, they would love to go for Grealish. They would want to have a player like Jack Grealish, but the money you're going to pay and what he would cost as a player, I don't think Arsenal will go for Jack Grealish. I don't think Arsenal will want to go for Jack Grealish. The prices are just so high, unless Villa have financial issues, and then they can think about probably 70 million. But I don't see Arsenal signing Grealish, even if it's 70 million, and I don't see Villa selling him at less than 70 million. So I don't look at Grealish as a player that can join Arsenal, but I would love him absolutely to join the club. I think he's so versatile. I think he's so good as a player. The fact that he can play on that left wing, the fact that he can play on that right wing, he can play as a number 10 down through the middle. He's brilliant. He's a brilliant talent. Everybody would want Jack Grealish at the club, at their club. United have been interested. Liverpool have been interested. And now, after signing his new contract with Aston Villa, it looks like there's no club that is sure they will actually get his signature, because it's going to be very expensive. He's had a tremendous season at Villa. They want someone to come and to come knocking. They want the money. They need someone to come knocking, and then they're gonna slap that 100 million price tag on you. I don't think Arsenal are going to go for that deal. Just to be very sure with where I stand. But another interesting one when it comes to English talent is Edin Ketia. West Ham are interested, and they're saying in the summer they will try to sign Edin Ketia away from Arsenal. They were interested in his services in January, and I think they were lucky. They were lucky because when they didn't get him, they actually went for Jesse Lingard, who I think has done tremendously well under David Moyes, and they want to buy him for 35 million pounds. He's been linked with Arsenal as well. How things roll for Arsenal. But Edin Ketia has been one of those players that have been very, very committed at Arsenal. Last season, by the way, I think he was. I thought he was. He would be one of those players that would be very important to the Arsenal squad this season, but I guess I was wrong. He's not had that relevance I expected. He's not had so many games to play. I think the fact that Saka is miles and miles ahead of him, and then you have Aubameyang and Lacazette in those areas where he wants to play as a striker. I don't see him having have a future at Arsenal this season. And next season, now that Balogun has signed, I don't see Eddie Nketiah have a future, at Arsenal even next season, because I think if it comes to finishing as a striker, both of them are good, but I think Balogun is so good as a number 9. He has that potential. Now he has signed a new contract. He needs the terms to get fulfilled, and I think probably some of the terms there is you've got to give me you've got to give me football. I need to be playing, and nobody's going to blame Balogun for asking playing time from Arsenal. He's a player, he's a young player, he needs football, he needs game time. He has left so many clubs to stay at Arsenal. He's left Bayer Leverkusen, he's left Lazio, he's left Parma, and he's staying at the club at a moment where you think he had a golden opportunity to go out there, prove himself as a striker, and probably show Arsenal that I was good enough. I was worth you guys, giving me some time. But anyway, what I would say is if we get around 15 million or 20 million from Eddie, I would take the money. Because Arsenal has so many priority areas where we want to reinvest. A lot of priority areas. So I would take the money. There is no reason as to why I don't sell Eddie Nketiah. Sell him, groom Balogun and Gabi Martinelli into new strikers. And that is, and then you roll. So I would sell Eddie. What are your thoughts on that? Would you sell Eddie and stay with Alexander Lacazette? Because definitely, having 4 strikers at the moment, if you let go of 2 of them, probably that means you're going to, focus on Aubameyang and Balogun as your strikers, or you're going to keep Lacazette and let go of Eddie. But I would sell him. He's a player that needs that game time. I don't see him getting that game time at Arsenal anytime soon. So I will let him go, done and dusted, and then groom Balogun. If there is money, I'll bring in a striker. If there is no money, it's okay. I would just rely on Lacazette and pierre-emerick Aubameyang, whoever stays. Some of the other stories around is Emiliano Buendia again linked with Arsenal, but this time linked with Chelsea and Liverpool again. And he was talking to the media in an interview, and he said the future is very open. He doesn't know, he might stay, he might leave. It's a beauty. It's much of a beauty when such a potential player comes out and says such a thing. Obviously, Arsenal know we need that number 10, player. We need that attacking midfielder. We need to add to the quality. And if there is anything we can do to add to the quality, you've got to sign players. You've got to bring in more and more players from the transfer market. I really rate Emi Buendia. I feel Buendia is extravagantly good. I think he's one player that gives you that peace of mind when you have in your team that at any point in time something's gonna go down, something's gonna happen. In January it looked like we were very close to getting him. Fabrizio saying that a bid was in the pipeline, but I'm gonna say nothing really happened with Arsenal and Buendia. I don't know why, but I didn't see anything happen between Arsenal and Emi Buendia, but I would love him at the side. But that will only depend, of course, if Martin Odegaard doesn't stay at the side. Something that I don't want to happen as an Arsenal fan. So, I think I'm at crossroads. At one side, I want Buendia to come in. At the other side, I know if he comes in, Odegaard doesn't stay. I think we have already seen the best of Martin Odegaard. You just get, he's just getting better. The older he gets, the better he's going to become. We have seen the best of him, and we are still seeing more and more good performances from him. So the truth is, I would want Buendia. But if we can get Odegaard on a permanent deal, because for me the problem is I don't want us to get Martin Odegaard on another loan deal, and then in this next summer he goes back to Real Madrid. What I want is, if you're giving him to us on another loan deal, there must be an obligation to buy. That is the good deal. I mean, that would be the responsible deal. Probably that's the right word. That would be the responsible deal. But these things of, getting Arsenal, playing around, and then, Odegaard goes back to Real Madrid because, we look like an academy. If you're building something and you want to build it around Martin Odegaard, there is no way you're going to build your team around Martin Odegaard when he's coming from loan from Real Madrid. That means anytime he's going back. So Buendia links are there, and I think Arsenal should consider him as the first option. As soon as Real Madrid feel like they don't want to sell to us Martin Odegaard, the next player in line should be Emi Buendia. Links are there, and I hope they come through as well. They come through as well. We've been linked with another striker. He's from Ghent in Belgium, and he's called Roman Yaremchuk. Yeah, that is the striker. Roman Yaremchuk. And the truth is, I don't know much about him. I've tried to look out for his statistics. Not the best of statistics, of course. He's playing in the Belgium in the Belgian league, but I don't think these are strikers we need at the moment. Because if you have Balogun and you're telling me you're going for get striker in Yarem word, it wouldn't make sense. I think Arsenal need to focus now, because what we need to do at the side is all the positions that Arsenal are filled well. So what you have to do is make those loan deals permanent, and after that try to get an upgrade in quality. That's what I expect Arsenal to do in the summer. So I don't expect these kind of names like Roman Yaremchuk and all those players. We need to go for players that are cheap, but the potential is there and they have made the name. Patson Edward, for example, would be a good one. Patson Daka would be a good one. So I expect those. I expect a lot of those. Good signings. To come through for us. And probably if we can do it, then it will be nice. And lastly, in today's segment, Kolasinac has been linked to a move to Lazio. Yeah. Kolasinac has been linked to a move to Lazio. He doesn't have a future at Arsenal. We just need to be very, very true to ourselves. Kolasinac doesn't really have a future at Arsenal. He's not one of those players that that are going to stay at the club. That's the truth. So I would let him go as a person. I would let him go. I don't see Kolasinac remaining at the club for starters. Frank says, hello Kosi, how are you? Can you compare Camavinga and Martinelli Matthias in terms of tactics? Techniques and statistics? Are they playing in the same position? Thank you so much, Frank. Thank you so much, Adam Lana. Thank you so much, and then Peterson as well. Thank you so much. For the comments. Look, okay, let's dive into what you've asked as the question. Matheus Martinelli and Eduardo Camavinga. The truth is, Camavinga and Martinelli are not on the same level. They're both very good, talented, players. They're both sensational players. They're amazing to watch, but they're not on the same level. You would say Camavinga has already attained at his very, very, young age. He has already attained that respect as a player. And by the fact that his contract is running down, I think Rennes are going to be very disappointed if they don't get, the right amount of money they should have got. From selling him. But Matheus Martinelli is one playing in Brazil. First and foremost, you don't compare the two leagues. I think the Brazilian league, however much there's a lot of quality there, however much there's a lot of talent there. Camavinga is playing in Europe. Camavinga is playing in the French Ligue 1. It would be very, very easy for Camavinga to adapt to Arsenal, and I think he's far more achieved as a player, if you compare him to Matheus Martinelli. I think if you sign Martinelli at the moment, you might need to give him, because he's 19 years of age as well, he's very young, you might need to give him 1 year or 2 years, to settle in Europe and settle into London, and get used to European football. With Camavinga, he's been playing in Europe. He's been playing in France, so he doesn't need to get used to the whole setup in Europe and so on. What he needs is maybe to fit in at Arsenal or fit in any new club, he signs for, and then he gets the ball rolling. So I think that's the big difference between the two. But both of them are very exciting players, very very exciting. If you see some of their clips and highlights, I've had the chance to see Eduardo Camavinga play for something like 45 minutes. So I know what he's capable of. He's very 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 good, and he would make a very nice partner for Thomas Partey in that midfield. Very nice, but I think Camavinga is ahead. Camavinga is ahead, really, really. We need to be very realistic. I think Camavinga is ahead of Matthias Martinelli. Very, 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 ahead of Matthias Martinelli. Let's talk about some of these. Let me try to react to some of these stories, because now I've told you what has happened. For those people who are going to watch on playback, I think the first 10 minutes have been, try to break down the stories. So let us try to react to some of these stories, and this is where I want you guys to tell me what you think. First and foremost, let's talk about Alexander Lacazette. Lacazette has been disappointing as an Arsenal player. Yeah, I know he's been scoring some goals and some important goals, especially in big games, but there is no Arsenal fan that should tell me he's been contented with the way Alexander Lacazette has been presenting himself as a striker. No Arsenal fan should tell me that. Smash the like button, people. That really means a lot. So for me, he's been disappointing as a player. Very, very disappointing as a player. But this season, particularly this season, he's been different. He's been so different. I think it only justifies what some of the pundits have already said, these days, that strikers of these days are becoming like wine. They're becoming like goalkeepers. The older they get, the better they become. Because if you look at some of the leading top scorers in Europe, Benzema is 32, 33. You have Robert Lewandowski, he's a legend. You have Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Ronaldo, Messi, Alexander Lacazette. It looks like strikers are trying to prove to us these days that however much I'm old, however much I'm aging, I can score goals. And that poses a very very big question for Arsenal. Do you sell Alexander Lacazette at the moment? Do you retain Alexander Lacazette at the moment? It's a very very brilliant question that many people actually need to ask themselves right now. Do you sell Lacazette? Do you retain him? It's at times it's baffling and puzzling, because what if you sell him and you don't replace him right? What if we are going to see more of such good performances this season and next season from Alexander Lacazette? So it's a little bit scary. It's a little bit very very scary. You need to take the right decision. I don't know what you guys think, but I would pray that you tell me what you think about Lacazette leaving. In my opinion, we should sell Alexander Lacazette. Yeah, I hope I'm not being selfish, but we should sell Lacazette at the moment. He's 29 years of age. He has scored the goals. So sell him at the moment. Get 35 million pounds. Get a 25 or 20 or 26 million striker in Odegaard. Good business. That would be very good business. I think now, as Arsenal fans and as Arsenal as a team, we need to look more into the business perspective, because that's how Kroenke has made us as a club. That's the way Arsenal is. You look into the business perspective and you're like, what is the business perspective? What are the business implications of of what we are deciding to do? And for me, I think the business perspective there and the implications are, if you sell Alexander Lacazette for 35 million pounds and get 15 million pounds and buy Odegaard, you can have some 20 million to reinvest in the squad, because you have so many priority areas. Actually, if you sell Lacazette and bring in Odegaard at 15 million, you could actually get some 20 million and bring in a backup left back. So that means you've sold two issues with one player. So then the rest of the stuff that needs to be done is getting a right back, as well as two people in the midfield. So I hope Arsenal are not getting carried away. As a person, I'm carried away. I think he's doing brilliantly. He's doing brilliantly well. But I don't know. I'll just cash in on him, close my eyes, go out there and try to bring in a striker who I think will give the best and the best for Arsenal. That's what I think. If you have anything otherwise, share with me in the comment box below. Okay. Of course, I've talked about Matthias Martinelli in detail, and someone asked me to compare him to Eduardo Camavinga, and in my opinion, honestly, I think Camavinga is ahead of him. That's what I think. I don't know what you people think, but I think Camavinga is ahead of him. I think Eduardo Camavinga is the better player there. I don't see Matthias Martinelli being ahead of Eduardo Camavinga. Talent-wise, probably that is debatable, because both of them are very young players, and according to what they have achieved at that very, very, very young age, there is no way you're gonna disrespect them. I mean, it would be hilarious if anyone disrespected these players. You can't disrespect them. You just can't disrespect them. I think it is exclusively written in black and white that if there is any player you've got to respect, they're those young players that have earned it. Those players that are young, the Mbappes, the Camavingas, they're young. They're trying to break through in the world of Toni Kroos, the world of Luka Modric, the world of the Vidals. These guys have written history, around these positions. The Bastian Schweinsteigers, they have written history around these areas. But you can see these players are really fighting a lot, and I think Arsenal is really looking at the right moves. Grealish being interested in Arsenal, as an Arsenal fan, I can brag. Because who are we to attract Jack Grealish? But at the other side, I don't think Grealish is going to sign for Arsenal. He will never sign for Arsenal. I mean, so many people have said he's a United fan. Others are saying he wants to go to Arsenal. Reports now indicate that he's interested in that Arsenal move. But I won't get carried away. I just won't get carried away. I just think if there is anything that Arsenal need to do is to look at those priority signings, look at those priority areas, and I just feel getting in some good striker is a priority. I mean, some good support striker like Grealish is a priority target. So if we go for Grealish, good. If we don't go for Grealish, but getting someone, in a perspective that, in a perspective that Arsenal is getting in someone to support the striking line, it will be brilliant. And then Emi Buendia move. I've talked about that in detail as well. I think Arsenal should go for Buendia, by the way. Because at times, I think about this and I'm like, we also need the squad depth. You can't have that cream de la cream of an 11 and then you have shit on the bench. You need players like, I don't believe Buendia can be a bench player, but you need those squad players that can change the game. And that's why I was really disappointed when Lucas Torreira was let to go out on loan to Atletico Madrid. Because for me, the idea there is if you place Lucas Torreira on your bench, it's okay. It's okay. He's going to come on when anyone gets injured. Like, okay, Tierney gets injured, Granit Xhaka pulls back into the left back position. Then you play Lucas Torreira ahead, alongside Thomas Partey. That is what I could have expected. So, of course, this summer, and I want to tell all us fans, this summer is going to be about improving the starting 11. I don't think it's going to be much of Arsenal improving, the overall squad, 22 players, 25 players. No, that's not going to happen. I think what Arsenal is going to do is try to improve the starting 11, and maybe next summer we could actually think of improving, the quality of the squad, at large. Now we think of the bench, because the bench needs to be quality as well. But Emi Buendia is a player I would take all day long. It's a no-brainer. I would take Emi Buendia at Arsenal. Eddie to West Ham. I've given my opinion on this, and I'll say it again during this reaction that I would sell Eddie. I know some Arsenal fans don't want to hear this, and they're saying, Kosi, rethink your decision. Yes, after rethinking my decision, I would sell Eddie. Look, I think Arsenal have been fascinating this season. Very, very fascinating with the poor performances. That's what I mean. We've been fascinating with the poor performances. But Eddie has not had time to play for Arsenal. and I don't think he's going to have time to play for us. No, we just need to be very realistic. I think. I think we just need to be very realistic. I don't see in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, I don't see in any way, shape, or form how Arsenal are going to use Eddie Nketiah with Bellerin signing a new contract. I don't see that happen. Unless there is someone who feels otherwise. But I don't see that happen. I think we should just sell Eddie. We should just sell Eddie. Probably if, get 15 million, get 16 or 20 million or 25. How much would Eddie be? Because he's a young striker with a lot of potential, and the games that he has played for us now, he's been brilliant. Truly, you can't blame him for not getting ahead of Lacazette. You can't blame him for not getting ahead of Aubameyang. You're just going to give him a lot of credit as a young player for putting himself in that position that Arsenal is thinking twice. Do we retain him? Do we sell him? I think that is already brilliant as a player, and we've seen him. He's written his mark around. He has written his mark around his name when playing for England under 19, when he's playing for England under 20, when he's been with the Arsenal team, the under 23 and the senior team. He's been brilliant. He's been brilliant as a player. So I just think Arsenal need to think very wisely. If you're selling him, yeah, good to go. Sell him and use the money to reinvest in the squad. This squad needs a lot of improvements, and that's the only reason I would accept Eddie to go if we are selling him and reinvesting in the squad. He's an Arsenal lad. He loves Arsenal. I know he wants to be there. He's Arsenal through and through. So if you're letting him go, then you've got to be very, very careful. So I think Edu as technical director, these are some of the deals he's gonna have to do, and he's got to be very careful with this one. He's got to be very, very careful with this one. Thanks everybody for watching. Smash the like button. Really, really means a lot. Another one is Sead Kolasinac leaving for Lazio. Lazio is interested. He's out on Schalke 04 on loan, but his contract has an extra year to expiring, so his contract is still on. Probably that's not the best of news. An Arsenal fan wants to hear. Personally, I don't want him to be an Arsenal next season. But unless his agent is foolish, which I believe is known, now it's clear he doesn't have a future at Arsenal. Kolasinac doesn't have a future at Arsenal. I mean, unless your agent is so poor. And if Kolasinac remains at Arsenal this season, he should sack his agent. Because it has been written all over, his face, I'm not an Arsenal player. It's written all over him. He's not an Arsenal player. There is nothing good from Sead Kolasinac. Nothing. I've seen much reactions when people are throwing bottles to screens, telling him never to get into an Arsenal shirt again. And he's gone back to Schalke 04 where he's loved as a player. And I believe he's comfortable there in Germany. But at Arsenal, he doesn't have a future. So we just need to sell him. I don't know how much we would raise in Kolasinac. 15 million, 10 million, I don't know. Or 9 million. I think Leverkusen wanted to give us around 9.5. And the rumors actually have it that Leverkusen was going to give us money. And then when he played, was it against West Ham? In that game where he had an absolute stinker, Leverkusen turned their, turn around. I'm not really sure about that, but it could be a valid reason. But look, Kolasinac needs to leave. Kolasinac needs to leave Arsenal. He has no future there. Yeah, he has no future there. And finally, we've been linked with Roman Yaremchuk, Ghent striker. Is he Russian? I don't know, or Romanian. But I won't react to that. I don't think Arsenal need to go for those kind of signings. I don't think. Guys, get into the comment section and tell me what you think. Massively appreciated. Shake the tree and let some of the overpaid and rotten mangoes fall off. Absolutely, I agree with you, Isaac. I agree with you. I think Charles Watson said it, and I promise you guys I'll bring on Charles Watson on this channel. I'll do whatever it takes to bring on Charles Watson on this channel. Please smash the like button. I'll bring on Charles Watts because I love his ideas as a national journalist. and as an Arsenal fan who is a journalist, of course, in reporting for Goal. But one of his statements that I loved so much was Arsenal and Edu are going to have a very tricky summer. Arteta says it's going to be unprecedented. Nice one. But how unprecedented is it going to be? First and foremost, you've got to shake that mango tree. I'm gonna borrow your words. By the way, I love them. I just love them. You've got to shake that mango tree. Absolutely, I agree. You've got to shake the mango tree, because what that gives you, if you shake the mango tree, is you're ruling out those players that are known quality. Kolasinac needs to go. The questions about Xhaka's quality, and for me, these are the decisions that Edu has to take. Do you keep Xhaka? Do you let him go? Do you keep Lacazette? Do you let him go? I think if he responds to these questions, then it's gonna be a nice summer. But if he fails to respond to these questions, then you're gonna have a lot of trouble from Arsenal fans. But at the end of the day, I think Arsenal should be really doing well in the summer. Really doing well. Hi, Kosi, 2 days. What do you mean 2 days? What I mean, are you saying how? I don't know. But how are you, Mohammed? Saidu, you're fasting. You're fasting. I know you're fasting. Hey, Kosi, do you think Odegaard should go to Bayern if he doesn't come to us? This is Rose Anon. What a question. Where the hell did you get this? Where the hell did you get this? But I'm going to give my reaction to that. And I'm sorry I didn't react to it first, but let me tell you what I think. I love German football, and there are two clubs that I really rate a lot in German. Dortmund, one that I support there in German, and then Bayern. I rate Bayern for what they have achieved and what they have managed to do over the years. Okay? But Odegaard, is it the quality of Bayern? Because you're looking, and this is crazy, you're looking at a potential replacement to Robert Lewandowski. That's what we are looking at the moment. We are looking at a potential replacement of Robert Lewandowski at Bayern. Not so, aren't we? Somebody say yes. Okay, so if you're looking at a potential replacement at Robert Lewandowski, for me it's not Odegaard. It's not Odegaard. He would fit there because Bayern create a lot of chances. They have a highly powerful creative force in Serge Gnabry, in Leroy Sané, and Joshua Kimmich. Yeah, I think they are good creating chances, but no, I don't think Bayern should go for Odegaard. He's a proven striker. He's good, but I expect Bayern to go for Haaland. I know they might not go for him because of the price tag and so on, but that is the kind of striker I expect them to, because and they're going to struggle. I'm telling you this for facts. They're going to struggle. They're going to really, really struggle, because when you look at the tenure, when they have had Lewandowski and Müller, they have not gone dry in terms of scoring goals. Lewandowski scores the hard and the easy opportunities. Yeah, that is the beauty with Lewandowski. So Odegaard, probably, if they're gonna sign him, I would say if he's going to sign for them, he needs a year. He needs another year to prove to us, not from Celtic to Bayern, but probably from Celtic to Southampton or Arsenal or Leicester City, then to Bayern. That one I would agree, because if he proves at Leicester, then I would take him at Bayern. But at the moment, I think Bayern should be looking at a lethal striker who will fit. I don't think at the moment they will get someone who will fit at Bayern. To go into the feet and shoes of Robert Lewandowski, because players like pierre-emerick Aubameyang could do that. You didn't see them. You don't see him going there. But if they could get Haaland or Kane, because Kane is clinical, and what Bayern need is someone to finish off their chances. That's all, and that's where you've seen Muller scoring 3, and you've seen and you've seen Lewandowski scoring 5, 4 in a couple of games, and I wonder why they had gone for Choupo-Moting. Look, I didn't believe Choupo-Moting was a striker. When he signed from Schalke 04, when I was, because I was still looking at him at Schalke 04, he was more of this progressive kind of guy, playing with Jan-Klaas Huntelaar and Leroy Sané. I didn't believe he was that kind of a support striker or a striker. Then he comes at Schalke, when he comes at Schalke 04, at Stoke City, because I think Stoke had lost. Had they lost Anatovic? I think Stoke had lost Anatovic, and then they brought in Eric Maxim Choupo-Moting. So that's when I started to realize that this guy has, striking potential. From there, he goes to PSG. From there, he's at Bayern. And I think did he score both goals? He scored twice in that draw against PSG in the league. I don't think Bayern would have been eliminated if Lewandowski was there. I think it just gives them that extra feeling of superiority as a team. But no, Hudson, I would take him at Arsenal. I don't think I would take him at Bayern there. Okay, let's look at some of the other comments. Big up to Uganda. Big up. You're on fire, brother. You're on fire. Well, Arteta lets Laca go. This is according to Santos Brian. Will Arteta let Laca go? It's going to be a very tough one. It's going to be a very, very tough one, Santos, because what you want as an Arsenal fan is quality. And Lacazette is giving us quality at the moment. But let's ask ourselves, and this is the times where I say Arsenal fans and Arsenal shouldn't get carried away too easily. Where were these performances 3, 4, 5 seasons ago from Alexander Lacazette? Why hasn't he been that striker standing in for Arsenal? Why is it at the end of his contract? Is he trying to play, renew my contract football? Because we've seen so many players do that. As soon as his contract is running down, he's on fire. As soon as he signs the contract, it's over. I'm not talking about I'm not talking about Aubameyang. Don't get me wrong, but it's a big question, by the way. Why is this football coming at the moment? And of course, if to answer your question, is Arteta going to let him go in the summer? I think I think they might add him something like 2 years. I think they might give him 2 years, according to the business mode of Arsenal. Because if it was Roman Abramovich, he would be going for probably going for Erling Haaland or Harry Kane. But the business mode of Arsenal is he's doing well. Aubameyang, you remember Granit Xhaka with all what he had done, and finally he got a new contract, and and he stayed. He got an opportunity, so he will stay. I think he will stay. As well as I know Mikel, he will stay, because Mikel is trust the process. He's more of trust the process. Do this and do that, but trust the process. I think he will stay. That's what I think. Smash the like button, people. Do share as well. As well, it really means a lot. Really means a lot. Cause see, will we make any quality signing next summer? I agree. I think we will. Yeah, I think we will. I think we will make quality signings. I think we will bring in some quality. They might not be so many, but I think we will bring in some quality signing. First and foremost, I think Arsenal will go for an upgrade in the right back. That has been confirmed by Chris Whitley. He is confirmed that Arsenal will go for an upgrade in the right back. Arsenal will go for an upgrade in the left back. Not an upgrade, but a backup left back. And Arsenal will go for an attacking midfielder. And look, even if we get Odegaard on a permanent, it's going to be a quality signing. But I know what you want. You want someone who has not been with the club to come on, and they're just there. They're just at that level of finished article. So you want a finished article signing to sign for Arsenal. And you know what I'm going to tell you there, Blood, is I think we might get surprised, but I think Hakimi might come at Arsenal. Because Fabrizio said the club wants him and they're willing to do whatever it takes to get Hakimi, and it would be around 43 million. So don't be surprised if you see Hakimi. Don't be surprised if you see Bissouma. Don't be surprised if you see players like Somare or Kamavinga. Don't be very surprised, but don't expect a lot again, because you'll be disappointed. And that is the beauty with Arsenal. If you're an Arsenal fan, don't get excited. You'll be disappointed. Don't lose hope in Arsenal, because we have to trust the process. Good evening. Trust the process. You understand? And that's what I think is going to happen in the next summer. I think okay. Let me look at this. Isaac says, why do we need to keep Eddie when Balogun is fighting his way? Yeah, I think that's the point. If you've already signed Balogun a new contract and you've promised him football, then I think it shows that Eddie's got to move on. But it's gonna be so hurting. If I was in charge of transfers at Arsenal, I would handle this with extreme care. Because the truth is, Eddie has done nothing wrong. That's the truth. Eddie Nketiah has done nothing wrong. He's been at the club. He's been faithful. He's been committed. He's been loyal. He's been giving us his services with all his heart. Whenever he has got the chances, he's been putting them, at the back of the net. And we're just asking for too much for him as a player. We're asking too much from him as a player. He's still a young player. He's not 27. He's not 25. Yeah, he's not there. So I've just got to think about it. Edu needs to go. Give Balogun a chance, but it's a deal we have to do and handle with a lot of care. Make sure you tune in tomorrow for what's that? What do I want to say? Making sure you tune in for tomorrow for the match preview. Fulham up against Arsenal. Make sure you tune in for the predicted lineup. Make sure you tune in for all the interesting, good shows that are going to come your way, along with me, Kosi, your daily host. I'm gonna be signing out for now, and I'll come to you and I'll speak to you in a minute. I need to be I need to head over to the Arsenal lounge. Need to watch their live stream. I probably get involved there. So I'll speak to you very, very soon. Love you so much, and have a blessed time.